What's up, guys? Farooqi Bros here, back with another Built Different stream. And today, for you guys, we're going to be going around multiple different franchises, a little bit of DC, a little bit of Marvel, some Star Wars, and even some Disney Pixar. So I want to start with the story that started actually earlier this week, and that's the latest on Joker 2. So reporting on from both the Variety and the Hollywood Reporter on this, Joker 2 was announced to have a major cast join Joaquin Phoenix, and it's going to be Lady Gaga, who, while the role isn't confirmed, nor has she officially signed on yet, most signs are pointing to Harley Quinn. And this comes right after last week's stream where we discussed, this idea of Madness of Two, which was the subtitle for the movie, and we're discussing who this second person is, because clearly the title signifies his two main characters. And I think the four of us were guessing it was either going to be Harley or Bruce or maybe another Joker. In the end, it was Harley Quinn, and it's another reimagining of Harley Quinn, who's going to be next to Joker. And I think the bigger thing, well, in my opinion, the bigger story even is kind of what the movie itself is going to be like, because unlike this dark, gritty Joker 1 that obviously, got Joaquin Phoenix an Oscar, this time we're getting a musical. We're getting a movie where they'll be singing and dancing, and it's something completely different and subversive from so Umar is turning Darth Vader just at the sight of the thought, just the thought of it. I mean, and we're getting a completely different movie this time, and that's kind of where I want to jump to. Not that the first movie didn't have dancing, as we can see, Joker did have a couple of moments where he danced both in the bathroom and on stage at the Murray show. Andy Murray, something Murray. Is Andy Murray a tennis player?
Murray.
A tennis player.
Yeah, it unplugged.
Take over. Just give your thoughts on the fine.
Yeah, I guess let's just jump in. I mean, yeah, the initial thought is like, okay, that's obviously a very huge departure from what you would have expected, especially coming off of the first Joker and what they did with that story and the character and like the way it's presented, the very serious tone of it. But, my first initial thought was that, okay, yeah, this is pretty far-fetched, but now thinking about it more and more, I think it was actually a very interesting and very smart creative decision on their part, because the one big key point we kept discussing last week was that it's going to be, if they try to redo what they did in the first movie, it's going to be very hard for them to really capture the magic of the first one. So the fact that they're having such a huge departure in the type of movie it is, I think will actually play into their favor. And then obviously it plays into the casting for Harley Quinn, because we've seen Lady Gaga in other movies. She can act, and obviously she's a very great singer. So she brings both of those facets to Harley Quinn. And that, so if they're actually going towards this musical route, and we've seen Joaquin Phoenix, he already had like the whole dancing like shtick thing in the first Joker. So you put those two things together, and actually it could be something pretty interesting and pretty great. Obviously, what matters most now is the execution of it. But just on paper, I think it's a very interesting idea, and if Joaquin is on board, then I don't think it's gonna be, even though it's like a musical, I still think it's gonna be a very dark movie and have a very serious tone, but just through the music instead of just through a regular film format. And it'll be very interesting to see that when it comes out. Hopefully, they can execute it properly, and it'll be just as amazing as the first, but just different.
Yeah, so Umar's already laughed before I was going to ask him the question. Boo, why don't you explain, share with the class?
Wait, Zian, I don't know if it's your mic or what it is. Are you saying executed, or are you saying eggs, like execute?
Execute.
And is there a difference between those two words?
I don't even know what you're saying.
All right. So I'll actually give my point next rather than jump to Boo and Umar. So basically, I'm similar to Zion in the sense where I look at the Joker 1, and we were discussing last week how if you just repeat the same tone and the same story again, is it, number one, going to catch the audience the same way? Can you repeat the magic of the first movie? And if you just do just a simple remake or simple sequel, is it going to do anything for Joaquin, who said famously many times that he is not a fan of sequels, he's not a fan of doing movies repeating the same character twice. So it must have taken quite a big script for him to jump on board, and that's kind of what I'm thinking right now, because I'm looking at this idea of a musical and how is that going to be challenging for someone like Joaquin to play Arthur Curry in a new way. And I think it could work. I think honestly there's a high chance of something like that working. Now it could also not work, and the main one example I saw is that, obviously Todd Phillips loves to pay homage to Martin Scorsese, and the first movie was based on Taxi Driver. The second movie is another Scorsese movie called New York, New York, which was a musical. And I think a lot of people are drawing comparisons that maybe this Joker movie is going to pay homage to that Scorsese movie, New York, New York, which was supposed to be almost like a gangster movie, but done in a musical format. So there's a lot of potential to see how that goes. But Umar, I remember when we first came to you, you were a little confused about this idea. So I want to know if is it growing on you, or still like, no way, that doesn't make sense?
Well, I think that like the points make sense. So I like, especially with what Zian's and both of you guys have kind of shown, is that they had to choose, like, if you're gonna follow up a movie like The Joker, which is like a masterclass type of film, then you do have to kind of step away from what you did in the first one in a big way to make sure that the second one is just as unique, even if it's using the same characters. So I think on that front, that's the idea is cool. I think just for me personally, I'm not a fan of like the whole musical stuff. So I just feel like for me, I might like, it might be really good. I just might not come out. I might come out being like, right, it was great for what it was, but for me, and it's also because of like the fact, I don't know if you guys can still hear me. You can hear me? Yeah, so because you got stuck on my screen. But for me, I think the Joker is so much of what I personally love in like these movies, like a character study type of movie, that when you do that, right? So that's like 100 for me. That's like the best you can give me, right? As a fan. And then go to the other end where I'm not really that interested in seeing a musical unless it's similar to what Zian is saying about like it'll retain a lot of its grittiness, a lot of the world that it was set in. Even if it has its own flair, like that's fine. But I would have loved to see maybe even the same like have Lady Gaga in it, make her Harley Quinn, and maybe let her write a song specifically for this character. But as far as the movie's concerned, the movie should still run, as like similar to how the first one did in terms of tone, in terms of like how they're gonna go about it. I would have been more excited for something like that, but I also understand why they're going the other route. So it's like,
Yeah, I mean, Samir, I mean, we discussed this more. I don't know if you're just off camera or if you're all AFK completely. But my question to you is that we've discussed a few times about if Joker was even, if it was necessary to have a sequel in the first place. I mean, we've had that conversation many times, that should we even be having a sequel? Do you think that at least if they're going to do a sequel, might as well go as crazy as possible? Or do you think they should have stayed within what worked? let's confer if Samir is even there. Zian, do you want to take that question?
I mean, I kind of already answered in my own question.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that without Gammy, then we have to just pretend that he answered. Samir's back.
I'm back.
All right. Did you hear my question, or do you want me to repeat it?
I didn't hear anything.
All right. So my question was to you that we've discussed multiple times if Joker even needed a sequel, but hearing that it's a musical, hearing that they're pretty much trying things, this is a saying that before would say sometimes, they're trying something. Do you think it's value?
I still think they don't need a sequel, but since they are trying something, I'm intrigued to see what they're going to come up with. I think a musical is actually pretty fitting, considering his character throughout the movie. Throughout the first movie, he's dancing around the whole time. He's pretending to be famous or whatever in his mind. He's like playing out the show in his mind before it even goes on. And I think Lady Gaga would be a good cast. I don't know if she could pull off the look, but she could definitely pull off the acting and yeah, I think it's interesting.
Yeah, I think that's a good point to think about. Like, the idea of a musical is that it's not actually like he's singing while he's like murdering people, or he's like singing while he's doing whatever he's doing, whatever chaos he's creating. But it's the idea of that thing, what's going on in his mind. Like he always sees himself as a performer, whether it be dancing on the stage on the Murray show, or if he's dancing in the bathroom or whatever he's doing. He's always, you're right, he's always dancing, he's always moving around. It's just when you're seeing it, it's super creepy. And it's just like, what is he doing? Because in his own mind, he thinks he is like this superstar who everyone is enjoying and enjoying his performance. So in this movie, now that he's completely confident in himself, but at the end of the Joker movie, he's completely confident in him being this like extreme performer and everyone loves him. Then I can see it going the next step forward. I'm guessing the movie's going to pick up where the last one left off, where he's in Arkham Asylum and Harley Quinzel will be the psychiatrist for him, and then slowly they'll start doing musicals and whatever they got to do. But I think it's subversive to the genre, and it's interesting to see them try something new. As Umar's about to start laughing again, but
that's because Samir was mentioning that like Joker, like he plays out the show in his head. So, and that's basically what Umar does on the stream. Like for the stream, he like plays it out in his head, like he runs through in his mind, and then when it starts, like he's laughing.
Yo, before I turn my after I turn my camera off the first time, this guy Shaw said, it's gonna take a lot for Joaquin Phoenix to play Arthur Curry again. It was Arthur Fleck, bro.
I used Curry twice too. First I said Andy Murray, the tennis player, was the show that they're on, and then I said that Arthur Curry is Joker. Arthur Fleck, yeah. Remember people thought, oh yeah, A Fleck, like Affleck, but I don't know.
Isn't that why he actually did it?
No one ever thought that. First of all,
I think people put it on social media. I'm not saying people thought he's playing like Affleck or something. Either way, from one topic to another, I want to have a quick. Me and Zan can mostly handle it. A quick discussion on Lightyear, what we thought about it, and what our thoughts, what our like general review is. I'll go before Zian on this one. My thoughts on Lightyear was that okay, so for Lightyear, I knew going in that you're not getting a Toy Story movie, and of course, from paper, you can make the case that they just didn't want to make a Toy Story 5, but they also didn't want to stop milking the Toy Story franchise. So therefore, you make a spin-off like this where you can still cash in on the names like Buzz Lightyear without making an actual sequel to Toy Story 4, which I'm sure they're not ready to do, and I'm not sure if they're ever gonna do. So and thus Lightyear is born, and you got a movie like this, which is, quite literally, it's the movie that Andy watched as a kid that made him want to buy the Buzz Lightyear toy. That is the movie, right? And once you get in the movie, you see Lightyear played by Chris Evans, who I think does a pretty good job. Sometimes I can't even tell. He kind of sounds like Tim Allen. Sometimes like it's not it's a good line blur where he sounds like a new version of Buzz Lightyear, but you can still hear homages to the original Toy Story. And then very light spoilers. A lot of times in the movie, Buzz Lightyear says lines from Toy Story 1. But in a serious way. So things that Buzz Lightyear says, like when he's talking to his mission log, or things that he's saying to Woody in his full, like when in the time where he thinks he is Buzz for real, those lines are said completely seriously in this movie. And he says those lines as if like he is in those situations against Zurg or whatever, right? So I think that was fun and interesting. Sometimes they did it too much, which made me feel like, I got it. You're trying to just show us that Toy Story 1. But then it becomes like another movie. I forgot which one, where the same situation happened, where we're like, if you just keep calling back to a better movie, then just keep reminding us of a better movie. So don't keep reminding us of Toy Story 1. Just be your own thing. When it did become its own thing, I did like some of the twists. I did like some of the story decisions. I thought overall it was a fine movie. It's not in Pixar's best. I wouldn't even say it's top 6 or 7 best Pixar movies, but it is a Pixar movie. So the quality is still there. Animation's still beautiful. Voice acting is there. I think the score could have been a little better. I think that I wish personally they used some of Toy Story 2 score when Buzz was the video game version of Buzz when he's fighting Zurg. I kind of wish they basically did that scene in the movie, but I just hope that they just use that score. But I like that score more. But that's just me again. I'm a big Toy Story fan, which we'll see as we go to the next topic after this. But Zion, what did you think about Toy
Wouldn't
Story?
that remind you of a better movie though?
That's a good point. Yeah, now you're making a good point. But Zion, what did you think about Lightyear?
Well, I'm not as nice. I'm not even nice about it as you are, but I think as far as a Pixar movie, especially if you come off of things like Soul and things like obviously Toy Story and other very good franchise, very good movies, you see this movie and yeah, it is so obvious that this is just such a blatant cash grab movie, and it is really reflected in the writing of it because, like you said, the animation is obviously very crisp. The voice acting was all fine, but the story was so shallow and pointless, and it felt like the conflict in the movie was, well, there was conflict in the movie, but in terms of Buzz and his own personal conflict, very like spoilers, it was introduced so late in the movie and then resolved so quickly. It was like, okay, like why are we jumping to conclusions so fast? And I feel like if something like that was introduced early in the movie and then you saw Buzz kind of struggling to figure out what his decision will be in terms of the big plot point in the end, that would have made that end thing much more satisfying and rewarding to see, okay, Buzz did this is that instead of doing this other thing. But the fact that it all happened so fast at the end just made it feel so shallow and so pointless. And I feel like the whole movie was just really a nothing movie because the characters, first of all, aside from Buzz, 90% of the side characters were very boring and just they tried to push a lot of comedic route with some of the side characters, and it wasn't funny at all, which is surprising because Pixar usually has good writing in terms of comedy as well. But this time it was just so bad, and even some of the action sequences, I found myself like closing my eyes and falling asleep because it was just there was no investment because you didn't feel any investment to the characters, and as much as you tried to feel investment to Buzz himself, you didn't get that till towards the very end of the movie, which really hurt the overall movie for me. And I think if you look at Pixar, this was a pretty big step down from the story, from the quality of story you expect to get from Pixar. It just was not in this movie, and that was pretty disappointing because you think about Lightyear, you saw the earlier trailers, you think that, oh, this is going to be a pretty deep, very good movie, as Pixar does, but it was nothing of the case.
I think the first act of Lightyear was the trailers, and I think the first act was the best act in my opinion. As there's a lot of noise in the background. I have a quick question, John. Just answer in 2 words or 3 words. Do you think Lightyear is better than Bug's Life?
I don't know if this is the last experience, but no, it's not better than Buzz Life.
All right, that's all I wanted to ask.
It's obviously not better than Bug Life.
First of all, Zion doesn't like Bug's Life.
I don't like Bug's Life, but at least Flick in Bug's Life was kind of like Samir. He went through a nice journey, internal struggle, internal journey that made him realize at the end and finally accepted or whatever. But this movie was just very shallow.
No. This movie, the main core was Buzz Lightyear had to learn to trust other people and not have such a big ego. That was like the overall theme of the movie.
Was so bad because the real plot was the big decision he had to make. If they just focus on that throughout the whole movie, then it would be like, oh yeah, Buzz, like he is conflicted for this one point, which obviously you suppose we can't say. Then it would be like, yeah, there is a good emotional core to the movie, but that was not there.
All right. I mean, we'll come back to this towards our last topic because I want to have a question for Umar and Samir, but we're gonna leave Lightyear here for now and jump to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Very simple question. We're 1 episode away from the finale of Obi-Wan, and it's very simple. Is it living up to the hype, Umar? Like, do you think after 5 episodes that it did what you wanted it to do so far, knowing that we haven't seen the 6th episode yet?
So I think those 2 things are different for me. I think it was never going to live up to the hype no matter what, because the hype was like through the roof, and the things that people talked about and what they wanted to show and all that stuff. I feel like sometimes the fans are always going to outdo anyone that takes on a project like this. Like just in terms of like sheer ideas and thoughts and what can happen and all that. So I feel like it was never going to live up to the hype because the hype was through the roof, right? I feel like they did do a good job of hitting different points and they could have done better. So that's where I think like the issues really lie with this one is one, they didn't, and then they made some errors that are kind of stupid. So like not using the actual scores, that's a big mistake because I've already seen people go on YouTube, take out the score they use, put the ones from Revenge of the Sith, and it's like 1,000,000 times better. So that's a big, I think that's like a big, the score is a huge letdown in my opinion. But I think in terms of the way they've gone about showing Obi-Wan, I guess, struggle with like what he, especially in the earlier episodes, I think that was great. I think Hayden Christensen, you could feel his performance in terms of like, you could tell it's him in the suit. Especially in the last couple episodes, like you could tell it's really, like just the way he talks, the way he acts, the brashness, like just the way he is, like it's very much him. I think that's really cool. Of course, we got the flashback that we were looking for. So that was good. I like the way they weave that into like the story in the present and how they're going kind of back and forth. Still, even now, I think that was really good. Personally, I didn't like any of the Inquisitors. I think obviously like Reva had she's a good performer, but I feel like she just didn't get the lines, I guess, in the right story. But the other Inquisitors, I didn't really care about them. Anytime Obi-Wan or Anakin are not on screen, it's like it's like okay, it's like cool. Leia's fine. I think Leia's fine. I think the kid did a good job, to be honest. And then everything else is kind of just whatever. So I think in the next episode, because things have been kind of a little bit underwhelming at different points, I feel like it's not the same as like Red of the Sith where Anakin and Obi-Wan fight at the end, because that whole movie it built up well to it, while this didn't really build up to that fight. Also, Vader looks like insanely powerful and Obi-Wan's like super weak. So like I don't know what type of fight they're gonna have. I think Vader would be able to like realistically probably kill him in like 2 seconds. So I don't know. Like there's like parts of it that I feel like didn't live up to the hype, but it was never going to. But it also didn't live up to like realistic expectations that any fan could have. Right, the score not being there, the basic things just kind of weren't there. So I feel like they got one episode, and it feels like they're probably going to do another season. That's what I think that's what's being reported, right? So if that's the case, one thing I hope doesn't happen is that they had planned for a war between Anakin and Obi-Wan in the last episode, and instead they're gonna scrap that and make that the last episode of the second season. That pissed me off because everyone is waiting. Like everyone is waiting for that fight, even if you didn't work up to it well. Like that fight needs to happen. I think that's like the one saving grace for the first season, if there will be a second season. And if there's a second season, my God, use the damn scores. You gotta use the scores, man.
Yeah, let's see. There's a lot of rumors about obviously a second season, not confirmed, but we never know. I think from the point of people viewership, like Obi-Wan is performing very well, so you never know if as long as as Ewan McGregor is willing to do it, I think they can pull it off.
Also, we need this Avatar. We need a scene like this.
Oh yeah,
listen to Obi-Wan directly with his face.
I've been very clear that there still hasn't been even one scene in this show that matches Ahsoka reuniting with Vader in Rebels, which is a problem because you have the same people, you just have to do it, and it's like expectations. I need to just match a little bit on that level. But Samir, what do you think? Is it living up to the hype so far? And do you have high expectations for the final episode?
I don't know if you can hear this lawnmower in the background. All right, Obi-Wan is pretty mid so far. It's I don't think it's living up to the hype at all. I think it's just mid. I think some of it is good, but a lot of it is just bad. But not in like the prequel way where it's bad in a good way. This is bad in like a sequel way where they just don't know what they're right. They write themselves into a hole and then they don't know how to get themselves out of it. And then they have to like do some stupid stuff, and it's just not good. I think the last episode has been better than the rest though, because they've done more with the story with the flashbacks and stuff. I think that was better. The story's better handled, but then at the end again, it just fell on its head. I don't think it's living up to the hype. I think they should have just done the 6 episodes and not planned for a second season, even though it was obviously going to perform very well because everyone was looking forward to something like this. I think this show should have been just as good as The Mandalorian was, but it wasn't that good. And I think it should have been better.
And the main thing is it just looks visually cheap compared to Mandalorian, which I've been saying at the beginning, which you need someone who has like, even Jon Favreau I think has a better eye for this stuff. So when he's on a series, it just looks visually better than when he's not on a series. Not to say Deborah Chow isn't good. I think she's a great, she's shown when she's on Mandalorian, she's great, but for some reason the show just doesn't have that kind of budget, as there's a lot of interference. Last time I'm going back. I don't know what's going on outside.
There's a parade happening.
Yeah, but so I agree. It's a little. It's not 100%. But Jan, I mean, what about you? Like, do you think how's it living so far? I mean, I'll give before you go. I think overall it's still good. I think it's better than the Book of Boba Fett, but I just don't think it's on Mandalorian's level, unfortunately. And I think I don't know. I was gonna say is it better than sequels. I don't know if it's better than sequels. It's okay. Like it's okay, and it's fun seeing Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen back.
Well, you say it's better than Book of Boba Fett, but that's such a low bar because aside from the 2 episodes which were about Mandalorian, it was one of the worst Star Wars things like in history. Like anything and everything Star Wars related is better than Book of Boba Fett. So to say that Obi-Wan is better than that too, that's just a given because what isn't? You have to do so little to be better than that. But as far as the show itself, I agree with Samir at parts that overall it's been like a B to B plus show, but I think this last episode really was the best so far. And because of like what Umar said, they really did show a lot of like the flashbacks and then they weave it into the story. And it kind of like, then the lesson at the end is the same thing that happened to Darth Vader, like, he never learns kind of situation. I think that was executed perfectly. And they did a really well job showing like a lot before the show started. We're like, okay, you want to see a lot of Obi-Wan's struggle or him like hallucinating or dreaming of the past. But even if they show it in this way where it's just flashbacks, I think that is an important key aspect that this show needed and it really did not have until this episode. So I think this episode just stood out among the rest. And I don't think the next episode will be better than this one, which is unfortunate.
My problem is that I wish conceptually the show was a little different. I wish that they had at least one subplot where Qui-Gon is consistently working with Obi-Wan to achieve Force Ghost, which never happened, I guess. And if they do in the last episode, it's going to be very quick that maybe like finally when he's like where he's back in Tatooine relaxing, then Qui-Gon's going to show up as a final like last second thing. Like he says, oh yeah, like Obi-Wan, like Liam Neeson will come back for that. But I think the whole show should have been that. Like in the background, he should have been training to become a Force Ghost. If they're leaving that for season 2, whatever. But I think they should have just made use of it now. The second thing is, I wish he kind of went through on Padme's like last words, because at this point only Obi-Wan's heard them, and she tells him that they're still good in Anakin. But this whole show, he's kind of like resigned to like, dude, this guy's crazy, and we have to kill him as quickly as possible, which is fine because that's what he is in the. Well, you think you disagree, but I don't think he's feeling like there's some good in him. I think he's just like whatever.
I think he sees him and he's like, the first time he saw him, I think he was just shocked, like because this is the first time he's seeing what he is after what he saw he was, right? So I think he was just shocked, like, yo, what the hell? And then I guess like he is evil, right? So it's not like he's not like shocked by that. I think he's just shocked at like how he looks. So he's like, yo, what the hell did you become, right? But I feel like they need to have a scene, especially in the last episode, where like Anakin kind of like explains to him directly, like that whole thing he said of like, I am what you made me. Like he's kind of like explained that like for him, it wasn't like a very fast like type of switch. I think that Obi-Wan doesn't want to kill Anakin, which he says in the 3rd episode, and then he also, when Reva asks him like, yo, he tells her, do you want the same thing as me? And she's like, well, do you really want Anakin to die? And he's kind of like thinking about it. So I feel like he's like in between like 2 places. And I feel like they should have, those are the things they should have explored more. Like this whole extra stuff that they added, I feel like was just stupid. Like this is the stuff that people wanted to see. You should have made the whole show about these 2 people's like history and whatnot.
Yeah,
it sucks. And Qui-Gon, honestly, even Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, like Obi-Wan should, when he shows up, Obi-Wan should be pissed at him because he's the one that told him to train this kid that now is gonna.
And that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see him argue with the Force Ghost and be like, you wanted this, you picked Anakin, so it's kind of your fault on the low. Though there's a whole thing like, I don't know, Dave Filoni said that if Qui-Gon never died, then Anakin would never have turned evil, because Qui-Gon's actually the proper master for Anakin, because they would have thought the same way. Whereas Obi-Wan wasn't the proper person to teach him. So I think that was like a mistake. Like I think Obi-Wan teaching Anakin was one of the flaws in this whole story. But that's a whole different story. I just wish that in this last episode, I hope, which I heard is a supersized episode. I heard it's going to be up to 90 minutes. If that's true, it's great. I'm not sure if that's really true. But if it's a long episode, like 90 minutes, hour and a half, I think that's very solid. And that leak comes from because the last episode is being screened in Canada in theaters. We don't get that in theaters, but you guys are getting it in theaters. So, and the number says an hour and a half. Like so. So if it is an hour and a half, that'd be good. But I really want at least one scene where Obi-Wan at least tries one more time to reach out to Anakin, be like I can help you. Let's figure it out. Like let's make it happen. Because Otherwise, then he didn't believe Padme's last words. He's like, whatever, which is fine because he didn't believe it in 4, 5, and 6. And 4, 5, and 6, every time Luke is like, I can turn him good, he didn't believe that. He's like, nah, you got to just kill him. Like, if you look at Alec Guinness's performance, he does not think there's any good in him. So something has to happen in this show where he tries one last time and then he realizes, okay, this guy's beyond my saving. We got to get rid of him as fast as possible. And that's why in the 4th movie, when he meets him, he calls him a master of evil. And in the 5th movie, when he's already a ghost, he tells Luke that like there's no saving him. He's more machine than man.
Yeah, he even told him that, if you try to save him, then that's it, it's over. Like, we lost. We have no chance.
There's no hope. Yeah, I guess
it was Yoda who said try to change him, right? Or Yoda also said kill him.
No,
Yoda was half-assed.
Like
He never actually said kill him.
I think Yoda just said you have to confront him. I don't think he said anything about like killing
Yoda
him.
left it open-ended. Yeah, he's like, it depends what you want to do.
They could easily, I mean, but that's the thing, right? They could have easily made it so that, and then they set it up that way too. I feel like in the last episode, that is the only way this makes sense. You cannot make that last episode just a fight. He's gonna lose. Like, well, what's the point of that? It has to be Obi-Wan trying to get him back, like maybe even like admitting that the Jedi were wrong, like admitting that their way of life didn't make sense. Which he's learning now.
In the end, he has to go back to the hermit life. He has to go back to just being in the cave. Like, that has to be his end goal because he has to be exactly where you see him in the beginning of the fourth movie. And obviously he's going to Tatooine because Reva found out about the children and she knows about Owen, so she already met him in the second episode or the first episode, whatever episode where she met him. So clearly they're going back to Tatooine now. They're going back there because Luke is in danger now. So I think Leia's part of the story is done now. Obi-Wan's going to go save Luke, and somewhere in the middle he's also going to fight Vader. There's a lot to squeeze in one episode, especially because the leak said they're going to fight on Mustafar again. So if he's going to save Luke and then also fight Vader, it's a lot to do. So
the order is going to be the opposite. He's going to fight Vader and then escape, obviously, because he can't obviously beat him. So, and then lose him on the trail, then hide back in Tatooine. And then obvious thing is he has to kill Reva because nobody can know who Luke is.
Yeah, he's going to kill Reva, obviously. Or someone has to kill her. She cannot survive this episode.
It has to be.
First of all,
knows too much.
That's the one thing that didn't make sense to me. Did she get stabbed?
I think she did. I think she got stabbed and survived and just played dead.
Okay, and also, why would he do the same thing again and make?
Yeah, why did he not kill her? He said he's going to put you back in the sewer. They said that was like what they wanted to do. They were leaving you back in the gutter, like where. Like, you don't, like, they don't even fear him, like, whatever. But I love that line though. He's like, you think I didn't see it, youngling? I'm like, oh my god. He's like, that's straight up, like, it's like he remembers his days as Anakin, almost like he's recalling. He's like, oh yeah, I remember you.
Even that whole scene, it's just every time they show the power difference between Vader and everybody else, it's always so good to see because nobody can challenge him, nobody can touch him.
And the scary thing is that
Obi-Wan, bro.
The scary thing about it is that this is a very weakened Vader. Like, they always, like, who is someone? A lot of people say like if Vader won that fight against Obi-Wan in Episode 3, he would be the strongest like living person in that universe because like he'd be too powerful. If anything, him becoming a machine made him weaker, so his full potential was never reached. You know,
well, that's Palpatine made him that way.
No, smart. but not on purpose because he preferred if he didn't lose. Like he preferred if he killed Obi-Wan. He didn't want him to be like a shell of himself. He's like, now I got to make the most use of it. But that was not his ideal scenario. You know?
Yeah, I think he preferred he won, and then I feel like the thing is it's weird because Anakin wanted to kill him too.
Yeah,
he says it's bad. He's like, yo, we'll just kill him.
Well, he probably would have. Yeah, I think in that alternate world, he probably would have killed Emperor at some point and just
never forget that in the Episode 3 game, that is exactly what happened.
Yeah. And George Lucas said in the interview that only 3 people are strong enough to kill Emperor Palpatine at his peak. He said it's Mace Windu, Yoda, and Anakin. So not Obi-Wan. So Anakin would have done it if he could have. You know, obviously Mace won that
Obi-Wan
fight.
Could kill Palpatine,
Mace actually won the fight very handily. That's the crazy thing. Like he just destroyed Palpatine in the fight. In fact, he beat him quicker than Yoda did. Yoda lost the fight. So really, Mace Windu is the strongest Jedi in the Jedi Order because he took care of Palpatine with no problem.
Please stop.
Then who is? It's him or Yoda, right? Because
it's
Yoda
Anakin.
told
Obviously,
no,
Anakin.
they already said Mace Windu is strongest and Yoda's the wisest. That's it. That's why Mace Windu is actually the leader of the Jedi, not Yoda. He's the head of the council.
That's true. He is the leader. Yeah, they made
which is
why
by far the strongest because even as a machine, the guy could
he's the strongest. But at that point, like I think it's hard to see who would have won. Like if Mace saw Anakin coming, would they have had a good battle? Who knows? And by the way, if they make a Obi-Wan season 2, it better be like a dual story of him meeting Mace because that's the next thing they got to do. Okay,
No, they already. It's obvious
Mace
that
been there.
Boba Fett season 2 is going to do Mace. It can't be Obi-Wan.
Yeah, obviously Boba Fett has personal vendetta because Mace killed his dad, but we
Boba
need to
Fett's
see
the
Mace
worst.
again. We need to see Mace again. It has to happen. In fact, Disney, they cash grab so much they have to do it.
That's why the Boba show's so garbage, because they kept doing the flashbacks of like him holding his dad's head and like the Jedi flying away, and then they didn't address it at all the entire show. He was just doing stuff like those Power Rangers gang and stuff like that. It was so bad.
On the bicycles, it was such a bad scene. All right, so let's Samir, you have any last points on this? I'm going to transition to a different topic. Do you have a point on this?
Samir's literally Anakin in real life, bro. Say something.
And that's what I'm
What
saying.
about Ray, bro?
Some of the sequels, bro.
Ray Skywalker, man.
Bro, why are you bringing up the sequels, bro? Somehow Palpatine returned, bro. That kind of writing cannot be recreated.
He returned through Fortnite, and you love Fortnite. So
Somehow Palpatine returned. Okay, somehow. All right, Samir, I have a question for you. Miss Marvel is officially 2 episodes in, so how is it so far to you?
I thought the first episode was decent for like a kids show. The second episode was unwatchable. The first episode was watchable, but the second episode was so bad. It was the worst thing ever. It was the worst thing ever. Worst thing I've ever seen. And I expected.
So you're saying it's worse than Book of Boba Fett?
I expected it to be bad, but not this bad. This is something else. This is different.
No, actually, it was so bad, but the problem is that you look at other shows that deal with like high school or teenagers or young characters, like Stranger Things or whatnot. Obviously, that's a horror element show, but they just handle it so much better. The writing is just so much more like crisp and like on par. But this show was just, it was very cringe for no reason. It just cringe for the sake of being cringe. And I know like it's geared towards a younger audience, but then you look at other shows that have kids or like teen oriented.
But it's not. But remember, Stranger Things, just because it has kids in it, it's not. You said it yourself, Stranger Things. Hard to compare. That show is like for adults, but it's for who are seeing kid actors. But and even now they're not kids anymore. But Miss Marvel is actually for kids in every way. Tone.
Then let's take CW. This is the most close to CW, but CW. It's been CW because of the budget. CW just has very bad writing, but it's not cringe for no reason. You know, it's cringe just because the writing's bad. But this was cringe because they purposely wanted to make it cringe, and that's why it suffered. Unlike the first episode, which was like, it was good. It was a good episode, but this one just doubled down the cringe, but not anything else. Not even the good stuff.
I'll put on my cape for Miss Marvel. What's cringe about it?
Everything, just from minute 1 to the
maybe Samir, what's cringe about it in your opinion? Samir. Hi. What's cringe about it for you?
Listen, I lagged out. I didn't hear anything that just happened.
It's fine. I'll give my opinion on it next. I think it's not cringe. I think it's for a specific audience that we are clearly not. But I think it's better written than CW. So I'll say that. It's better than the CW.
It's obviously better written.
Yeah, it's much better written than CW. And I think, again, it's telling a very specific story. In my opinion, it's much better than Hawkeye. So I don't think it's bottom tier MCU. Disney plus MCU. Hawkeye was just unwatchable in my opinion. This is better than Hawkeye because I like the camera work on the show. So at least from a filmography standpoint, they do interesting things from a visual standpoint. They make the show at least like visually is interesting from top to bottom. From a writing perspective, it's up and down. But it's fine for what they're on the show. It's very Spider-Man Homecoming, but put in a context of a younger person. But it's very Spider-Man Homecoming.
I think it was the representation aspect was pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah. I think
they worked away with a lot of the tropes, and they actually showed a lot of things that like some families, I guess, would be going through as a Muslim young kid in America. Like they showed the whole like two different worlds type thing, which I guess Ross could write an ultimate immigrant story on. I think it was fine. I think that aspect of it was they focused on that really like in a way where it was fine. But again, it's not for us. Meaning like it's not like the Batman level writing. So you're not going to find that here.
Yeah, but I'm saying take away the target audience. I'm saying just writing example. The last episode ended with, oh yeah, she snuck in late and her mom was so disappointed. That whole like small fake conflict was completely forgotten about. Like they didn't care about in the next episode. Like she's like, oh yeah, go to the party, do this, do that. It's like, what happened?
Isn't that how it happened?
No, it doesn't.
It was dropped so quickly. It's like,
I think
then why is there fake conflict even there? You know, if you're gonna just
this show is just Shazam for Marvel. Okay, if you think about what I'm trying to say there, you'll know what I'm getting. It's just Shazam, right?
Although Shazam's like a million times better, but let's not play.
No, Shazam is better, but it's very similar in terms. Shazam is better, but it's very similar in terms of what you're seeing on screen and what the character is going through. Personally, I think again I'm putting
it's not similar to characters going through because Billy actually went through much worse, especially at the end when his mom rejected him. Like,
but this show is
a kid getting superhero power.
This show is not based on trauma though, so it's very specific. There's no big, at least up to this point, this character is not one that lost their parents, lost this, lost that, like the classic superhero movie. This is a character who's already coming in very happy and mostly is staying happy throughout the show, which is a welcome change of pace if you think about it, because every single superhero show has, oh, your uncle died, your dad died, your mom died, your sister died, and then suddenly you become a hero. This one is just about, oh, something about your grandmother or your great-grandmother, and then you got to figure it out, and that's like a mystery. And then you're seeing how she manages her dual cultures, which is fine. I think representation-wise, they're doing a good job. And I think writing-wise, I think Samir and Zan are being too hard on it for what it is, because we're not nearly as hard on CW, and this is way better writing than that.
No, CW was so garbage, we wouldn't even watch it. We were watching this, we're good. And the first episode was good. I'm saying the first episode was good, but the second episode, it just one step lower. I don't know why.
I don't know why Shiraz changed the argument last second. Your first argument was good, man. The thing is, this show is not for any four people on the screen right now.
But I'm saying, but we can still look at it.
Are you sure it's not for Samir? Are you sure it's not for Samir?
It's close to Samir, but
Samir's wild.
But I'm saying that we can still use our media literacy to be like, okay, even though it's not for us, like what's right and what's wrong. But it's interesting. It's a good debate. Like I think we'll see how the show goes. I think also it's doing unbelievably bad numbers, and this is a point I wanted to make on the side before we move to the next topic. It's doing the poorest from all the Disney Plus shows so far, and in my opinion, it's not because it's targeting a very specific audience. Oh, it's just really made for like young basic girls, something, which is not. I think it's made palpably so even like white people can watch it and be like, oh, I get it. This is like a different culture. And even though people from our culture can if they're speaking like Urdu very quickly, we can get it. But I think it's palpable for the wider audience that the reason it's doing piss poorly is, why would you release the same day as Obi-Wan? Like, if you're Disney, why are you releasing both shows the same time? Let's give one on Friday, give one on Tuesday. I think it makes no sense to release both at the same time. Everyone's going to watch Star Wars before they watch this, and most people are going to even forget the show even exists, because when Star Wars comes out, it dominates the entire news cycle. So everyone's only going to be writing articles about it. All the press is going to be about it, and Miss Marvel is just kind of forgotten in the wayside, which I think is unfair to the character. And for the people making that show, I think you should have released that on Friday and spread these shows out a little bit.
They could have potentially delayed it. Like it should have never been a 6-part or whatever part show. They should have made a movie, and in the movie they should have made it a little bit more like what every other superhero goes through, which they have. Her story isn't just what they've made it out to be. They chose to make it this way. You could have easily made it more like a lot of the other movies that are out there. So I feel like the decision to even make it a show already hamstrings you. Like it already makes it so that like you're now your audience changes. Like it's not the same as a movie. And to be honest, if you marketed this same thing as a movie and you did it correctly, you could have made money off this. Like,
I almost agree with you. I think maybe it would have been good as a movie, like almost like Shang-Chi style, like budget.
That pull it off. Perfect. That's exactly what it should have been. It would have been.
I agree with that. I think I agree with that. Either way, remember Captain Marvel 2 is renamed as the Marvels now, and I'm pretty sure that means
bad.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that means this character Kamala Khan's going to be in that movie. Like they're going to combine. They're going to have her meet her hero, and it's going to be again very similar to Homecoming. 100% telling you, it's gonna be Homecoming again, where Spider-Man meets Iron Man, and then maybe they have a fight in the middle, or Captain Marvel will tell Miss Marvel that, oh, you're not good enough as a hero, like go back home. It's so obvious. I mean, I could write the movie right now, but either way, like it's very, I can see this movie years in advance. Like the script is very predictable. It's definitely tailored to a specific audience. I agree on that. Yeah. So, one guy is saying that I love that show. It's better than Obi-Wan. So Sami Zayn is coming in with like a very big hot take. That's better than Obi-Wan.
You
Is
tripping?
it better than Obi-Wan? It might just be.
So see now Samir's thinking about it. Samir's thinking it might be. So you're saying, was there any episode in Obi-Wan that was worse than episode 2?
Which is better quality, Miss Marvel or Obi-Wan?
Okay, see, this is a good question. Miss Marvel is better shot than Obi-Wan. That is true. And I
This
think
is-
Miss Marvel
this
has
is the
better
dumbest
camera
thing
work.
ever in my life.
Miss Marvel has better camera
This
work
is so
than Obi-Wan.
stupid.
Yeah,
This is
but
so stupid.
no,
guys.
it has better camera work. It's just true. Like the people who are in
No.
this, whoever the cinematographers of Miss Marvel
No.
is doing a better job than Obi-Wan.
Zion, can you not agree with them?
On a filmography level, it is slightly better. It's slightly higher quality, but I don't know why Star Wars is just
From an acting level, from a story level, Obi-Wan's better. I think and even from a writing level, Obi-Wan's
It's better in every other way, but they're so different, so it's hard to.
So you're saying that the 5 times the show had a very weird ship ending where they had to quickly get an escape route from a ship every single episode the same way.
Isn't that every Star Wars movie ever? Except the
every
last one?
episode of the show.
Yeah, Umer's right. That's what Star Wars is.
That's what Star Wars is. They just run away at the end and then they have another movie.
Every episode, something strange happens and they have to go on a ship and disappear. And that's how every episode ends on a ship.
Okay, but the whole point is Obi-Wan's running away. That's the story.
Even in Revenge of the Sith, he ran away, bro.
Exactly.
I'm just saying the way they escape the villains every time is very similar.
The
Wait,
robot
what's
picking
it?
him
It's
up.
the same.
The
It's the
robot
same.
picking him up is unforgivable. That's the worst.
Okay, he was sitting. Vader had him in the palm of his grab. He could just force him back to his hand. A very slow robot picked him up and walked away. And Vader's like, there's a fire in the middle. I will not walk. And then they just somehow get on the ship and disappear. They don't lock the planet down. They don't do anything. They just like.
That's
go on.
because he has the plot shield. You know.
Okay, and then in this last episode, they somehow found a ship to hide in front of the other ship. Really quickly, and then he was like forcing. So someone was driving. Unless that ship was on autopilot, someone was flying the other ship, and he's like huge secrets. So he's like force grabbing it, and then a very weird CGI ship goes away from the back and goes up. With our main
That was pretty bad.
characters.
That was pretty bad. He should have just got there and just saw nothing. That would have been better. Like they're already gone.
No, Fatima, I'm saying that just the way they're doing it from a writing perspective is strange. And Vader's like, oh yeah, the other ship, it's okay, it's gone. I tried my best.
Well, they tried to play it off like the other ship, kind of like Darth Vader of all people is shocked that there was another ship and that it just took off.
Yeah.
It was fine.
And that was the whole point of the flashbacks, that he overestimated himself, and that was happened. Then he got beat in the end.
See, there you go. There you go. Finally.
Yeah,
Finally someone has shown up.
Fine. I'm just saying that that's what it is. All right. We're right on the tail end of this thing. Quick note. So Final Fantasy VII Rebirth got announced this week. Now here comes someone who's like, what? What's that mean? Zion, what's your thoughts on that, plus the Crisis Core remake?
Obviously, I'm super excited. I love the remake, the Final Fantasy VII remake, the first part. I love how it's not a one-to-one remake and actually switching up the story, and they're changing and actually bridging the timeline of the first one and this one, and now it seems to be converging in a way, because obviously now Zack is alive and blah blah. So we'll see how that goes in Rebirth, and obviously the name Rebirth, Zack is alive, so we'll see the context of that and what that means in the story. So I'm very super excited to play that. A year away, so that's unfortunate, and that's a 3-parter. That's be pretty sick too. As far as the Crisis Core remake, I know this is what we've been waiting for so long, for so many years, and I'm definitely super excited for that. But just the new voice acting is just abysmal, in my opinion, because you look at the original, the Final VII remake, everybody, Cloud, Tifa, Aerith, they all sound fine. They all sound really good, but Sephiroth sounds horrible. Even though he's trying to do his best George Newbern impression, he sounds pretty bad. And he's Tyler Hoechlin, right? Who's doing it?
So yeah, they exchanged one Superman for another. So George Newbern, we had on our podcast, the voice of Superman, of course, for a generation, but he also plays Sephiroth for Final Fantasy. He got recast, and they used Tyler, Superman from Superman and Lois, as the new Sephiroth. So one Superman to another Superman is playing Sephiroth.
And also the decline is so extreme.
By far, in a way, the worst Superman ever.
I've never seen a worse.
No, we all know Dean Cain's the worst.
Yeah, by far,
Yeah,
Dean Cain's the
he's
worst.
probably the worst. But after him, it's this guy.
There's other worse ones too.
That's okay.
He might be better than Brandon Routh.
He is not
He's
better than
literally
Brandon
not.
Routh, Brandon Routh was ruined by bad writing.
Exactly.
If Brandon Routh had a good story, he would have been very good.
You're saying if
Very
Brandon
good.
Routh had a good story, he would be on Christian Bale's level.
I wouldn't
No.
go that far. But
Christian Bale's a good
even Henry,
actor. He's like
even
an
Henry
insanely
Cavill's
good
not Christian
actor.
Bale's level.
No, I don't mean Christian.
Bale's over
I don't
here.
mean
I'm
Christian
sorry.
Bale's an actor. I mean the way people think about Christian Bale as Batman. Like people have said, "Oh wow, Brandon Routh is Superman. We need him back." You know?
Yeah.
I'm about to expose. Ross. It was Ross on our group chat who said one time. I remember you saying this, and there's 2 other people. So if I'm
Am I now to change my opinion?
No, this guy literally said that Brandon Routh is a better actor than Henry Cavill, and that if he was given the same, help, like LeBron always needs help. If he gets the same help, that he would have performed better. And to be honest, that's not a bad take. That's not actually that bad of a take.
Yeah, now I'm thinking about it. He was pretty good in Superman Returns. I was thinking in hindsight, he wasn't as good as as Kingdom Come Christ Superman as I thought.
You're thinking of Legends of Tomorrow too much. That's the problem.
Nothing will Legend Tomorrow, but he's a different guy now. But yeah, I'm the more I think about it, Superman Returns, like it was such a shit movie, but he's a good Superman.
But it had
Like,
one of the greatest.
When it first came out, we thought it was pretty good. We're like, whoa, that's pretty good.
Let's not trip because it had one of the greatest Superman scenes ever. All he did was save him, but it was
of course, that scene was. I'm not gonna say it, but it was better than a lot of other scenes.
Wait, which scene?
Him saving the plane in Superman Returns, like it's one of the iconic scenes.
Oh, yeah, of course. That's
And
that's peak Superman.
And the music crescendos when he picks up and puts it in the thing and
So what you're saying is that
Don't
Hans
say it.
Zimmer, yes, he did a great job, but nothing compares to the original John Williams.
I've actually been pretty consistent on that. I think the more iconic score, nothing, the better composed score is Hans Zimmer's. The more iconic score, it's not even a thing. Of course.
So if they brought it back,
John
you wouldn't
Williams.
mind. So if they said they'll bring that back over Hans Zimmer's, you wouldn't mind.
No, I don't want them bringing back John Williams' score. You leave it where it was. You don't have to use that score anymore. But it's still an iconic score. It's John Williams. He never misses.
They could easily do what that band did at that football stadium where they combined both scores.
Yeah,
But
no, I think the next Superman, you should do a new score and try again, like scratch. Don't use Hans Zimmer. Don't use John Williams. But John Williams and Hans Zimmer, there's a whole other video in itself discussing who has a better resume. It's like discussing LeBron versus Jordan. Like they both have crazy scores. Like it's Man of Steel versus Superman. It's Star Wars versus Interstellar. Jurassic Park versus what did Hans Zimmer do? Did he do Avatar?
Lion King, Gladiator.
Yeah, so
He did a lot of amazing things. Yeah.
Hans Zimmer had Lion King. Obviously, that's crazy.
I mean, Zimmer's definitely
John Williams has Jurassic Park, Star Wars, Superman, E.T., Indiana Jones. The resume is big.
What even is the Indiana Jones theme? I don't even know what it is.
This guy, bro.
I don't either.
I'm sure I'm gonna remind you one day. I don't remember myself this moment. Oh yeah, it's like no, it's really good. First of all, he did Star Wars. It's enough. He did the episode 3 score. Okay, so he could do dark scores too. He doesn't have to do only light scores. Either way, I
guess you mean LeBron's the GOAT then. You just made the argument then.
Yeah, well, yeah. So he did. Yeah, this is a good score. You know the score before we get copyrighted.
Yeah, now I know what it is. Yeah.
All right. Now our final topic of the day is very simple. We're gonna quickly rank the 4 Toy Story movies and also include Lightyear for me and Zion. But you guys haven't seen it, so if you want to include, you could. But me and I'll include Lightyear in ours.
I'm not gonna watch
But we're gonna do the 4 Toy Story
Lightyear.
movies.
Lightyear is the Venom to what the Homecoming trilogy is.
It is the worst of the group, but it's not. It's like this. The 4 Toy Story movies are 5. Here, don't be an idiot. The 4 Toy Story movies are 5 out of 5, 5 out of 5, 5 out of 5, 4.5 out of 5, and then Toy Story Lightyear is like 3.5. So it's like, yeah, you get a dip, but it's still
Lightyear
good.
is 3 on a good day, 2.5 here.
I guess Shrez, you should go first because you're the resident
All right.
Woody guy. Whatever.
I thought you and me share that
me
distinction.
and you shared, but I always
share
have to
Woody.
give it up. I always have to give it up. Just like me and you share Superman, but I have to give Superman to you.
Yeah, but you and me both can equally be Woody depending on the movie. You know.
That's actually true. Yeah.
Whereas Jan is like consistently buzzed. That's why he takes it so seriously. But Lightyear.
So when you rank,
Samir is whenever I'm Woody, then Umar, you're Slinky. But if yeah, it's true.
That.
And then
Samir,
you're Mr. Potato Head, or yeah, you're probably Mr. Potato Head.
Umar's 4th.
Samir's
Or you're the horse.
Where's Forky from the fourth one?
Okay,
Yo, that's
our boy Sully, who's here as the hash slinging slasher, he's Rex, consistently. We actually bought him a T-shirt with Rex on it once. All right, either way.
when you rank the Toy Story movies, Shraz, make sure to just make the difference between who's Woody in that specific film. Why?
I will. Okay.
Go ahead.
So for me, Toy Story. This is here's hot take supreme, which I've decided now. Toy Story 2 is the best Toy Story movie. You heard it.
How's that a hot take? I think a lot of people would agree with you.
Most people say 1 or 3, but okay.
How quickly you forget when Umar was like just barely born? All he watched was Toy Story 2 on repeat.
Toy Story 2 is GOAT. It's GOAT status. It's really GOAT status.
Goats. They're all goats. But here's my ranking. Toy Story 2 is the best. Toy Story 1 is the second best. Then Toy Story 3. Then Toy Story 4. All of them are GOAT. But that's how I ranked the 4. So Zian, what about you?
See, before I used to hate on Toy Story 2 a little bit, but now after realizing, it was a pretty they did challenge a lot of they put a lot of challenging themes in the movie, which now I appreciate in hindsight. So my ranking would be exactly how they're numbered: Toy Story 1, 2, 3, 4.
So for you, this franchise got progressively worse over time. Then
no, it's just technically yes, but it's the first 3 are 5 out of 5 movies, but then comes personal preference, which Toy Story 1, just the nostalgia factor of it will always be number 1. And then Toy Story 4, you take out Woody, all the other supporting characters like Buzz, they're so garbage that it has to get knocked out.
No. But Bo is a very good character in that movie. Don't trip.
I meant like Woody's subplot, like everything he was doing with Bo and stuff like that was all good. But then
it's part of the movie.
Buzz
you can't remove the main character from the movie and expect the movie to be good. What are you doing?
No, but because depends what you think about Forky as a character. Because Samir is Forky in the 4th movie, but it depends. It depends how you feel, you know. Like if you think about it, me and Woody, me and Samir is kind of like Woody and Forky, you know. If you think about it, if you put pen to paper. Either way, those are my 4. Umar, how would you rank?
I'm gonna let Samir go first.
Samir, how would you rank Toy Story?
I don't even remember what happens in the second one. I'll be honest.
Are you tripping?
Yo, this guy's the worst, man.
Yo, they're all about toys getting lost. Okay.
This guy's tripping. Toy Story 2 is like the Godfather 2 of Toy Story.
First one is Sid, right? First one is the Sid one?
Yeah, Sid is the villain in the first one. Stinky Pete is the villain in the second one. Lotso is the villain in the third one.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And the fourth
the villain
one had no villain.
Listen, the villain in the second one is Woody.
That's why the movie's so good. Because he's the villain for only some of it, though.
Yeah, I'd rank them by their numbers also. Only because the Bonnie verse gets bad, you know. As soon as they introduce Bonnie, it just deteriorates.
That's one movie. Like in the third, she's not actually like a big part until the last second.
Yeah, but you know she's coming. That's the problem. Like you know she's coming at the end.
So you're saying you're an Andy purist? You're an Andy loyalist?
You're like a Jaegerist. You're like an Andyist, bro.
Bro, Bonnie's not it. That's all I know. Okay.
I also
hate Bonnie, bro. He was cursing out Bonnie in the theater, bro.
He was in the 4th movie. He was so angry at Bonnie. I was like, dude, it's fine. Why would a little girl be expected to play with a 1930s cowboy doll? Like, give her some slack. Why are parents even giving her those toys? Like, give her an iPad. All right, now, how would you rank it?
My ranking is probably the most different. 3 is obviously the best. Let's not play. 3 is just
what do you mean by obviously?
It just is. Like it's better than the other 3. For every reason ever. So 3 has to be GOAT. Listen. Let's give you one moment, okay? When they were in the trash can, they're about to die, and everyone's holding hands. Like we thought it was over. Like me and Samir were holding hands. We were like, "Yo, this is it. Like it's over." Like, oh, Woody's dying, bro. They're gonna kill off Woody. Like this is a freaking toy, and they're gonna kill him in the movie. Like why? Anyways, so that pressure, that tension alone was crazy. So we'll go with that. And also, Lotso was like really, really good character. Okay, so I'm gonna go 3 is a go. The thing is, I really like 4. I don't know why y'all tripping on 4 because the thing is that for what it was, right? It's a Woody movie, sure. Like it's a Woody through and through. It's a Woody movie. But to be honest, that's fine. That's totally fine.
No, but that's why 2 and 4 are so similar. 2 is also a Woody centric movie. It's Woody's movie, but what Buzz is doing is logical and it's like a smart side story of they're going to get him back. But in this movie, it's the same thing, but Buzz is just an idiot, so it doesn't make sense.
And that's why we're gonna go 3, 2, 4, and then 1.
Wow, you put 1 last.
I
That's different. That's different.
I think the reason why though, is because 1, I just haven't watched it in a long time. Like I need to watch it. I need to just go back and see some clips.
Toy Story 2, the reason it's
But 4 is
movie,
good. I don't care what anyone says.
Toy Story 1 and 2 have Woody and Buzz sharing almost equal screen times. Woody's arc in the first movie is better than Buzz's arc in the second movie. In the second movie, Buzz is the protagonist because he's the one going out to save Woody, and Woody changes his mindset halfway through. But it makes for an incredible storytelling because they have that climax where the two of them are on opposite sides of the table where they don't agree, and that happens very rarely in the rest of the trilogy, rest of the quadrilogy. Because the third movie, like Zan said, Buzz is calm again, like Jurassic Park, with the law of diminishing returns. Buzz gets kind of worse and worse every movie because third movie they turn to Spanish because they don't do with him, so he turns to Spanish Buzz, which is funny for the audience, but from an arc perspective, he's not doing anything. In the fourth movie, he's a little dumber than he normally is. Like he's acting a little dumber for some reason, which is strange too. Because he doesn't. Maybe he's getting older as a toy or something.
For everybody who watched Dragon Ball, he's just the Vegeta of the series. Once his arc was done in Toy Story 2, he completely regressed as a character because there was nothing for him anymore, story wise.
But I will say the end of Toy Story 4, when Buzz tells Woody that she'll be okay, and then Woody thinks he's talking about Bonnie. No, he thinks he's talking about Bo. He's like, oh, you're saying Bo's gonna be okay, meaning it's okay for me to let her go. And he's about to like go with Buzz, like, all right, time to start her. Let's go back to Bonnie. And he's like, no, I mean, Bonnie will be okay. You go live your life. Like I was like, yo, the tears are coming down. So I was like, that's a wild moment. And they let Buzz do his thing. So he wasn't dumb in that moment. The third act, he became very like normal. It's just the first 2 acts, he was just kind of doing random stuff, which is fine because it was not his movie. It was really a Woody main character, Bo's second main character, and everyone else was a side character. If anything, Forky was the third main character, then Buzz and the rest. So that's how like they divided those movies. But I think the fourth movie, because of the weak second act and somewhat a weak first act. Also, let's be honest, the whole scene where they're like doing an Operation Woody to get his voice box out is wild. Okay, so those guys is why.
Yo, that was some scary crap.
They're doing stuff with those movies. And all of this is why I'm happy they didn't cash grab a Toy Story 5 and instead made Lightyear because of that. Like, don't make Toy Story 5 unless you are dead certain it's going to be good and you're really sure it's actually worth making it. Because every time we say it's a good ending, Toy Story 3 was the perfect ending because you left all the characters in a happy place and you don't have to worry about what happens in the future. But Toy Story 4 is a full deconstruction story about immortality and about like what it means to find a real life, and it's a whole different story, you know. So like they did crazy stuff in that movie, which is like all like under the lines, which is why I love Toy Story 4. But saying that, I do think it's the worst by default. It's the only movie where I don't give 5 out of 5 to. I give 5 out of 5 to every other movie. 1, 2, and 3 are 5 out of 5. Even though you can make a case that Toy Story 3 was, Toy Story was pretty good. Yeah, well, your character was very good.
Well, your unwritten script for Toy Story 5 is also pretty good.
Yeah, but I can't talk about that. It's
under lock and key. We can't talk about it. It's under lock and key. Yeah,
unless I pitch it to Disney, you never know. But how about this? Who's the best villain of all the Toy Story movies?
Lotso. Lotso's the best villain by far. It's not even close.
But you, Samir?
I don't know. Probably Sid, bro. Sid was an animal, bro.
Bro, how quickly forgot the meme? You know, like he was just a kid playing with the toys. How would he know they're alive and like doing stuff? You know?
Exactly.
He's like, it's not his fault. He was a normal kid.
That's what he was a little crazy, but he was crazy.
Yeah, he was a little crazy. Yeah.
But he has. Why would he have to know that these toys are sentient?
I was about to say something, but I'm not gonna say it. I can't say it.
Don't say it, okay? Whatever you're gonna say, don't say it. Okay. And then Toy Story 4 didn't really have a villain. It had that doll, but I forgot her name, so it means I don't remember.
But she really wasn't a villain at the end, though, was she?
Yeah. It's Lotso versus Pete.
It's Lotso, man.
Both of them had a very similar story. Because Lotso and Pete were both abandoned by their original owners, except Pete found where he wanted to go. Instead of opening a daycare, he's like, I just want to be sitting in a glass cage, which is actually like, it's not hard. In fact, he got it worse.
Okay. No, Lotso got it way worse, and Lotso is by far the best villain because he's a true villain. One, he was running like his whole like criminal organization, the daycare, and 2, he straight tried to kill all those toys in the fire. Like he was gonna let them get.
I'm telling you, he was leaving off.
He, as selfish as he was, his reasoning, he still wanted to preserve and save Woody. He wanted Woody to be like kept in the glass and like preserved forever, you know. So he didn't want to kill Woody.
That's true. He didn't want to kill Woody, but he hated Buzz. Like he did not like
in
Buzz.
the end, he didn't get the life he wanted, but he still was like loved as a toy, you know, and got like the makeup or whatever, the stickers. But Lotso, he was put in front of the garbage truck forever.
All right, who had it worse, Lotso or Pete? Because Pete didn't want to get taken by that little girl and turn into like a new Barbie doll.
But
That's
maybe when he realized that he can be loved by a kid, that was the whole point of the story, you know? Like, oh yeah, it was like, you know, it's about being loved by a kid. So Pete realized that he'll be fine. But Lotso, he just got it bad.
So you're saying Lotso living on top of a garbage truck, but that Sid is driving is a bad thing?
Toy Story 4 is about times change.
Elaborate.
Our life is Toy Story 4.
So you're saying that our life right now is Toy Story 4?
He's right. Our life is Toy Story 4.
The times with
So
Toy Story 4 happened in February.
We're currently living through Toy Story 4 right now, live. The bear is the worst. So yeah, Lotso is. Wait, do you mean Lotso's the worst villain, or he's the worst as in he's like the most evil? I will say that scene, like he was a major op in that scene where he was like, "Sheriff, come grab my hand." He's like, "Oh, so long," and he let him go into like the fire.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that was better.
So
that was better than Infinity War, like the whole movie.
Oh, I mean, of course it's better. It's 5 out of 5.
Yeah, Lotso is a better villain than Thanos. Take that in.
A lot of villains are better than Thanos.
Thanos was stupid. He's like, oh, half the universe, whatever. Stupid idiot. Could have just made more resources for everyone. This guy Lotso, bro, he was a villain. He was running a freaking organization. Then he was trying to kill Woody. Like, yo, this is how you.
The thing is, everything was fine, and even he almost became. I love the writing because he almost became a good guy in the end. He was like trying to escape the trash, and then the second they are so nice, Woody and Buzz, they let him go up first to the ledge, and then he's just not pressing the button. He's like, you know what? I want you guys to burn, literally. Because that's the only way to kill a toy, because they don't die naturally, apparently. Like, they can live forever. They seem like they have no end life. So they have to burn to die, and that's what he wanted to do, which is wild.
Bro, he straight up imagine.
Now I'm thinking,
these toys,
you know what? Like, I must say, maybe Toy Story 3 is better than Toy Story 1 now. I'm trying live while we're talking, I'm thinking it's really 2, 3, 1, 4.
You
because
mean 3,
1
3, 1, 2.
No, it's 2 is still the best in my opinion. I just told you why. 2, as my writing perspective, is perfection.
No.
2, 3, 1, 4.
Shaz used to hate 2. Okay, we all remember this, right? Shaz used to
I did. Why do you all of a sudden? That's why I don't understand about Scream.
He hated 2 because it challenged the characters too much, and we all wanted a very safe experience.
It was supposed to be a safe space for me, but it was so much like dramatic. There's too much drama for me in the movie. When I was a kid,
a safe space for me.
Yo, Toy Story must be a safe space, bro. So I didn't know they're gonna do so many things, bro. Like, Toy Story 1 is a comedy. Toy Story 2 is like a drama. 3 is like a horror movie, and 4 is like time's changing.
Okay, so see, right now I changed my thing, but actually when I'm looking at my list of Disney animated, I have 1 and 3, then 2 and then 4. So I have 3rd, 2nd, 2, 3rd.
But did you change your mind now? Like, you said Toy Story 2 is better now.
I choose Bird, but now I'm changing it again after the discussion. I'm going to my original words: 1, 3, 2, 4.
I like 2 more.
I have 2 and 3 1 and 3 is the 2nd and 3rd best Disney movies ever.
The writing in the scene where Woody and Buzz are talking to each other at Newman's apartment. What's his name? Al? Yeah, Al's apartment is some of the best writing of the whole series, where they're discussing like, do you want to come back with to not? And think about, for those toys to come from Andy's house to Al's toy bar, that's not easy. Like, they made a journey. It's literally like Fellowship of the Ring. They're really making a Lord of the Rings style journey from one house to that toy store. It wasn't easy, and to go all the way there and for their best friend to betray them and say, get out of here.
I'm telling you that cone scene in Lightyear was clearly a callback to Toy Story 2. There's no question about that.
Obviously, the whole movie was callbacks, except for the one thing they did with Zurg, which I'm not going to spoil it, but they did something different, and it was good. In my opinion, it was good. Maybe you think it's bad, but I think it was pretty good. So, and I'll tell you guys after.
It all happened so late and it resolved so quickly that I didn't care.
So, Samir, who is Woody in each movie?
Who's Woody in each movie? What does that even mean? Wait,
Yeah.
I forgot to say something. Okay, that scene in Toy Story 2 where they're cleaning Woody is like the most cinema scene ever. It's so good.
Thank you for making my point.
That's
Toy Story
actually
2 is the best movie.
That's actually facts. And we should clean.
I'll
Toy
agree
Story.
with that.
That's all I'm saying. I'm saying Toy Story 2 is the best of the 4, but they're all 4 are good. It's actually the best collection of 4 movies ever made. Probably.
No.
All right, name.
Yeah, that's
name
probably
another
true.
4. Name another
A
4.
quadrilogy or quadrology or whatever, it's the best.
Oh, so he said no, so name another 4. Name another.
I don't know.
4.
You're probably right because there isn't a lot of quadrilogies. I just in my head, Lord of the Rings is a trilogy, but
Yeah.
because it's so freaking long, I thought it was a quadrilogy in my head, but it's not. So you're probably right.
If you think about the greatest trilogies of all time and just made Toy Story 4 part of the trilogy, and you just put it together, then no, it's not the best trilogy ever. I think Lord of the Rings is better.
That's it. Nothing
Probably
else.
Toy Story second. It's between Dark Knight trilogy is really good too.
No, Dark Trilogy, because of Rises, it is not better than Toy Story or Lord of the Rings trilogy as a trilogy.
Okay.
Oh, what about
I
Spider-Man
don't know why
trilogy?
this
The
guy
original one.
wants to start a fight.
All right,
What about
Spider-Man as a trilogy is actually better than the Nolan trilogy because Dark Knight Rises is so bad. But
You think Spider-Man?
Spider-Man
You're
3
saying
is better than
Spider-Man?
Rises. Spider-Man 3 is 100% better than Rises in every
But
way.
2 and 1 are not better than Begins or The Dark Knight. So, but by default, it's better trilogy.
Begins
That is
is
true.
better. Begins is better
2
than
is
Dark
better
Knight's
than
better
Begins.
trilogy than Spider-Man.
2 is better than
Way
Begins, but the Dark Knight is better than everything else. Lord of the Rings is the best trilogy, then Toy Story. And in the respective categories, Toy Story is the greatest animated trilogy of all time.
What about a more
And
recent
greatest
trilogy?
live action. Wait, which one?
He's saying, what
Exactly.
about the Justice League? What about Justice League trilogy?
Good one.
I think Samir can answer that.
What? There's Godfather trilogy. There's Back to the Future trilogy. There's
Back to the Future trilogy is probably in the top 5.
it's top
It's
five,
not as bad. Yeah, people say 3 or something is bad. They're all good.
Well, 3 is the equivalent of Toy Story 4, but for Back to the Future. Think about it. No one else will get that reference. Think about it. Doc's arc. Doc's arc in the 3rd movie is exactly Woody's arc.
Isn't that also your arc?
well, it could be a lot of people's arc. I'm just saying, we'll see. So yeah, from in terms of who is Woody, who are all 4 of us in every movie? In the first movie, I think it's pretty safe to say me and Ziana are very clean Woody and Buzz. But you can also say Samir and Umar are also Woody and Buzz, but from the Canada perspective. So
That's true, but all I know is I'm Woody from the 3rd movie. That's just facts.
yeah, I can give you Woody from the 3rd movie. The 2nd movie, I was gonna say 2nd movie Woody's Umar, but it's a deep cut. So like the 2nd movie Woody can be Umar, and then in that case Ziana's still Buzz. I'm like the other Buzz.
But in the 2nd movie, Woody was trying to change the times,
Exactly.
and then Buzz was coming to stop him.
So Buzz was trying to stop. Yeah, so Buzz was trying to stop Woody from changing the times in the 2nd movie. But the times are changing. And me and Zion are the mix of one Buzz and the other Buzz. The other Buzz is pretty sick too. The one who's like from the first movie. Like the guy, like the first movie programming Buzz. In fact, I wish that belt was in this Lightyear movie because that'd be pretty sick.
That doesn't make sense.
Why can't you have the cool belt?
The belt. I thought you said double.
No, I meant the belt. The cool belt.
Umar's Scud. The first one.
Yo,
Why
stop.
would you say that to him, bro?
Yo, so you say a curse, bro. You say you curse me out. Cursing me out.
I'm scared of Umar's Scud.
Do you see the first movie poster? I'm Woody, Zian's Buzz, Fatma, you could be Bo. You guys decide between Slinky and Potato Head. And I feel like Samir's a classic Potato Head in personality.
I'm Forky in the 4th movie.
Because Umar has to be Slinky. He's like my Slinky. He's like my pet.
No.
So.
Hell no.
By the way, Slinky is not Woody's pet. They're best friends. They're really best buddies. Think about it.
Yeah, Samir's my bullseye.
Yeah, and they done did it to him in the 3rd and 4th movie.
That's because his voice actor died. They actually didn't want to.
I know.
Yeah, they actually wanted to give respect. And then in the
And they did the right
movie,
thing.
in the 4th movie, Potato Head's voice actor died, so they didn't want to give him any lines either. So they were very silent in those movies because they didn't want to recast the actor and instead let them be more silent or use old footage, And now Mrs. Potato Head's voice actress, she died too this year. I don't think it's going to be Toy Story 5 anytime soon. And from the 2nd movie, I don't know, they're all the same. Toy Story 3, so you're kind of like the Ken doll, Like you remind me of the Ken doll.
That actually makes so much sense. It's wild.
I feel like it doesn't
No.
kind of sense.
That's like not true. It's like wrong.
I'm just Bo. Bo is like a very good character. Remember, we saw Toy Story 4. It's a very like it's a good character.
Thanks to 4. Before 4, she was like, just a side character.
Yeah, she was like,
but in 4, she became one of the best characters.
She did. She had a good
That's true.
run.
Right.
In 4, she was a good character. Right.
And then see the 3rd and 4th movie. See those 3 green aliens. That's Lee Safosman and that's Lee those guys, bro. I'm telling you. And then Forky is it could be a mix of you guys because me and Umar can a lot of people can be Woody, but yeah, either way, yeah.
No, it has to be between me and you. Let's not.
Yeah. And then yeah. So that's how it is. Horace, he's kind of like Ham, Think about it. Think of it from a story perspective, not the character perspective.
No, Horace is actually Ken in real life.
Yeah, Horace could be Ken, but then who's Lotso?
You don't want an answer to that. I have
Don't
a real
answer.
answer.
Don't
I
answer.
can't answer that.
Don't answer that question, okay? All right, yeah, I think we're pretty much like wrapping there. I'm gonna use that as our funny question and not have another funny question. But I think we had a good debate there. Last few comments.
This guy closed his camera to cough, but he didn't mute.
Yeah, I did.
What got saved there? 4 had a lot of character development, which kind of is there. Yeah, so ours is Ken. Yeah, so what do you guys think about what were the hard debates? What are we talking about today? Okay, so yeah, that's a good Toy Story debate. I would have gone even further, but I know other things we could talk about in that movie.
One last point. Now talking about how amazing these Toy Story movies were. Lightyear was so garbage that I can't even believe how garbage it was. It's shocking how garbage it was compared to Toy Story.
It's actually pretty good. No cap. Lightyear is better than Obi-Wan.
It's not.
It's not.
You didn't see it, Umar.
It's not because Anakin just meeting Obi-Wan again is just better than anything ever.
If only you knew the big twist of Lightyear.
I don't need to know anything. In fact, I tell you right now that when I watch this movie, I think I'm going to be more in line with Zane, and I might even hate it even more because of how much I love Toy Story.
Maybe you'll find out some secret things that happen.
Whose father?
When Woody shows up out of nowhere, you'll find out.
Didn't Zurg become someone's father or something?
Do not,
the movie.
bro.
Bro,
Don't get into
that's
Zurg, bro.
the stupidest thing ever. If that's what they did, I swear to God.
Okay. So who was Zurg in the second movie?
Hi, Woody isn't Zurg. What are you saying? Who's saying that?
Wait, Uber say Woody is Zurg?
No.
So what did you say right now?
Listen, Buzz cut off all his limbs, and Woody became Zurg, bro, like Darth Vader.
Honestly, if they did that, it would have been so much better movie. Such a better movie.
No, but I still like what they did with Zurg. I still like it. Who was Zurg? Do you remember Toy Story 2, Umar?
Yes, I know who Zurg is. I thought that Samir said that.
Who was he in
Zurg...
Toy Story 2? Who was he in Toy Story 2?
What are you talking about? Who was he? I remember who he was.
What was Zurg's secret identity in Toy Story 2?
What do you mean his secret identity? What the hell are you talking about?
Who was Zurg?
This guy's such a fake Toy Story fan.
What's a fake twister? I don't know what the hell you guys
Who?
I'm saying you're a fake Toy Story fan for not remembering.
Okay, Zurg shows up in that movie. What is his main scene? Yeah, there you go. You're there.
Yes.
What did he say?
Yeah, he said he's father, whatever.
Okay, that's all I want to say.
So that's not a freaking twist. If they did the same thing again, that's even worse.
Thanks for making a point. Exactly. It's still a twist, right? So I'm saying that they did something different.
It's garbage.
But they play on it. They play on it if they do something different.
That was slightly interesting, but just the way it all resolved was garbage.
I liked who they picked. I like what they did with Zurg, like who he was, what he's supposed to be. I get it. I liked it. I was like, what it's like. So I was like, this is pretty. I was like, this is pretty lit. Like I was like, but it happened again. I wish they did it earlier because they left it so late that I almost thought Zurg was just a robot. Like I forgot he was like somebody. And I was like, oh, he's that guy. I'm like, oh,
Zurg is the worst.
That guy. He's someone earlier.
That guy. He's someone. No. It's someone.
Maybe they should make a really deep.
Someone important to the Toy Story franchise. He's Andy, bro. No, he's not Andy. I'm saying he's like Andy is Zurg, bro. No, but they just been good. I can't spoil it because the movie just came out yesterday. But I can spoil it for you guys after the stream.
The mistake they made was saying, "Oh, this is the movie that Andy watched." If it didn't say that garbage, they could have really done anything. But because of that, you know it's gonna be a very, very safe, very bad movie.
It wasn't bad.
It was so safe.
Okay. What's better, Finding Nemo?
So
All right, what's better, Finding Nemo or Lightyear?
Finding Nemo was better.
All right, what's better, Finding Dory or Lightyear?
Okay, Finding Dory is just the worst thing in history. That's different. It's unwatchable.
Okay, what's better?
I didn't watch it.
What's better, Incredibles or
Incredibles better. This is the funny thing on Twitter. Like, you saw the Tom Hanks thing where they pushed him, right? They're like, the video, the comments are so funny because they're like, oh, yeah, that kid is gonna become Syndrome. The kid's gonna become who? Sid? The kid, Sid. What? He looked kind of like Sid. Sid.
Yo, that kid didn't even do anything, bro.
He's gonna become Syndrome from Big Girls. Like, all he wanted to do was meet Zero. He didn't even do anything. It was so messed up because he didn't do anything, and Tom was just shouting at him. They're like, he's gonna become a Joker. Because the face he's making, he's like so serious and he's just staring into like Tom Hanks' eyes. Oh. the villain from Mission Incredible is the funniest joke. Why did Uber and Spear get off camera, bro? Get back on camera. No, it's hung off camera. Oh my god. I remember the meme that one face the Mr. Incredible's kid. What is his name? What's the villain of Mr. Incredibles? Syndrome. Did it a side by Did it a side by side of Syndrome like looking up very angry?
All right.
Oh my god, yeah. But yeah, that happened. Okay, either way. Yeah.
What's the last topic?
There was no other topic. This was it. We're already done.
It's time to log off then.
That's what I'm saying. All right. Wait.
You better not pull it up.
All right. Just wait. Don't close your camera. Don't close your camera. Just don't do anything. Actually, it stopped me from sharing my screen, so I took a screenshot. All right, relax, okay? Don't say anything crazy. But this is the show. Why did Tom Hanks do it? He was innocent. He's gonna become the biggest supervillain now. He's gonna become the biggest supervillain. It's so messed up. I feel bad for him. Oh no! It's actually Tom Hanks' fault, literally. So we're very disappointed. It was the other guy's fault, but it was actually two people's fault. Yeah, it's two people's fault. Yeah, but it wasn't the kid. But the kid got F-cursed by Tom Hanks. And he's on the path to becoming Anakin Skywalker. It's over. Right, okay. What did you say right now? What did Samir say? What did you say?
I didn't say anything.
We can't hear you.
Let me just compose.
Oh, you're muted.
Let me compose, man. Relax. All right. All right. What did you? All right. What did you guys think about Joker 2 being a musical? Why? I can't just go back to it being a serious thing.
Just tell us in the comments what you think below. For myself, from Zion and Samir and Traz, signing off. Bye.
True.